Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. It's a lot of tzedakah. Because tzedakah shmekar zagula. And we're going to focus on Mar ben Linda. So Mitzvah Hashem, Mar ben Linda should be healthy and safe and come home with all the captives and all the soldiers. Everyone should be safe and healthy. And we should have only good. And Purim, we should celebrate the ultimate Purim with connection with us, with all of them, and also with Mashiach. Okay, today we're going to finish off this discussion that we've been having from Maimer, I think Tesvav, if I'm not mistaken, number 1522. So we've been going on this for a long time now. But today we're finishing it up. Maybe we'll even start the next one. Next one goes on another topic, more interesting stuff. And we're nearly there. And basically we're discussing the difference between Rabbanon and Rabbi Yossi. And before we talked about Rabbi Yossi, it says that every day a person is judged. And Rabbanon are saying that it's not really every day. Every day it's more like a scrutiny, a calling to mind. So we explained, so now today we're going to explain that they're not really arguing. This is the typical concept in the Gemara. And they don't argue. Meaning, and we're going to show how they're not arguing. And basically what we're going to explain is that they're discussing two different things. And this is what we brought up. Before we brought up that there is the physical and then there's the spiritual. Now, and sort of they're talking about two different things. So according to the opinion, according to the rabbis, which they say every day you don't need a mamash daven for your thing. It's already said Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, and every day is more calling to mind because they're talking about the spiritual, and the spiritual lists that. But according to Rav Yossi, that he says no, every day you need a daven, every day you're judged, whether you're going to get it or not. That's what he's talking about the physical, and for the physical to come, it's a full judgment. But like we said before, Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, it's all in spiritual terms. And for it to come out of the physical is a whole different madriga. It's yesh mayin, not ilavalu. So that's what we're going to explain. Let's see. Well, if it's a yuvan, so according to what we've explained till now, will be understood to Rabban, non Rabbi Yossi, Mar Amachad, Omar Amachad. Masa said this, Masa said this. V'lei pligin, they don't argue. Meaning Rabbi Yossi and Rabban, but they say their opinions, but they're not arguing. Klal, lo pligin klal at all. V'chen kasav asam amar, so it says in the Sefer asam amaris, the lo pligin that they don't argue. But Ella Shekan Mavor Boifnecha. Here we're explaining it differently than that Sefer. And that Sefer also says they're not arguing. And we're going to explain it. The Rabbanon, they're talking about the drawing down of the light and the life force of the spirituality that's coming to us into our world. Which is included in the judgment of Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. And being being that the chesed that's being said in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur is included in the chesed that's going to come down every day. And it comes down every day in a way of say but not a way of ischachus novelty from yesh mayin. And therefore, there's no real judgment. Him pkida of iyun, it's just a analyzing, a call to mind. Levad. Rav Yossi also agrees to this idea. Rav Yossi agrees that when we're talking about spiritual terms, the spiritual chesed that's going to come down every day is already set. It's already given. And really what's happening every day is a calling to mind. Is if that chesed that's meant to come down today, that was set spiritually, is actually going to be there. Rav Yossi is talking about Bamshachas Bechinas Tzir Gashmi Mamash. He's talking about the literal, physical chesed is going to come. Are they going to have money in the bank? That's what he's talking about. I'm not talking about spiritual terms. Is the potential for a good day there, and spiritually it's going to feel good? Is it going to be in the bank? Shezeu ika hamshachos. And this is the main hamshacha. This is the main drawing down what we're talking about. We're davening Rosh Kippur. We're not davening for this chesed ruchni that's going to come every day. It's be good. Well, we're asking that we have money in the bank, so to speak. A good day, positive day, productive day, an enjoyable day. Every day. That it should be physical hashpah. We should get physicality. Whether it's money, health, enjoyment, physical stuff. Listening to Yitzhak Tov over Yitzhak, all this important stuff. And this is a novelty. And that's why he says yidden. There's a complete judgment. On the flow on what's going to come down. Because like we said before, on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, it's all there spiritually. And it's going to come down, and it's already said what's going to come down every day spiritually. But Rav Yezid is not talking about spiritual, talking about physical, and for the physicality to come express itself, the chesed into physical terms to express itself, it's a hischadshus, it's a novelty, it's yesh ma'ayin, it's something, it's a new idea that's coming from nothing. So therefore you have to ask for it every day. Because spiritually it's all set in spiritual terms, but we're not asking for spiritual terms, we're saying physical terms. And so therefore you have to daven that you get the physicality. The Gamla Rabbanan made him and Rabbanan also agree with this. You know, I think about it, it's like two people, a lot of times it happens, people will essentially agree on something, but they're talking on two different points. So they'll keep on arguing back and forth to give over their point. And someone will say their point, and the other person, instead of understanding their point, they will say their point. And I'll keep on saying their points. And when you get hopefully more mature, or not more mature, when you understand this, then you're able to say, 1 second, instead of me continuing saying my point, every time you say your point, let me understand your point. And we'll see that we're not actually arguing. It's two sides of the same coin. And this is exactly what's happening here. They're not arguing. It might sound like it in the Gemara, but here we're showing they're not arguing. They're just talking about two different points. Some. And that's what's happening. That's sort of the summary of everything that's been going on for these last 7 Maimarim. So what comes out of all this? The main judgment is on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. And this is dependent on what's going to be for the whole year. How much is set the chesed b'Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippurim l'chol olam l'chol? How much of chesed is going to be set for the whole world in general? B'chol bria b'frat, in every single creation specifically. In b'riboy oy v'chul, if it's going to be a lot or etc. He says doesn't want to say, but for clarity purposes, or the opposite of a lot and a little bit. But that it's said in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur is still spiritual. In order for it to come down to physicality in our physical world, that chesed of Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, which is in Atzilus, has to be included in the chesed of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. And in this idea of it coming down into those walls, there's 2 concepts, which is the discussion of Reishi and Rabbanon. Hamshach is a chayus of ruchni. There's the spiritual drawing down of the chesed, the b'rit and asiyah, halavushim vatzir mamish, and then there's the garments and the form of it, like we explained before, like a few days ago. The chesed, the b'rit and asiyah. And the way it comes in to the form and to the garments, that's how it's going to be yeshmayin, physical and physically ultimately. And every day we have this judgment. It's tire that it should come out in those worlds, the chesed, until it come down physically below. As that's what we're saying. We're saying Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, it's all spiritual. And every day there's an aspect of that spirituality that's going to come down, and that's already set on those days, Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. But the judgment, what we're doing and what's happening every day with our davening is we're davening that it should come out physically. We should have it in our physical chayim, chesed, gashmi, in our lives, physical chesed. Chesed that we can see, that we can feel, we can touch. And that's what's happening every day. So every day, so essentially what we're saying is it's very important what happened in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, super important. And it's, in a certain sense, equally as important how we are today, and realizing that we're getting judged today, what's going to come out of it. And that's the summary. Kitzer, the summary of this chapter. Gilei HaChesed, the revelation of Chesed, when it comes into children, health, sustenance, parnasa, that's the spheres, has to come through the vessels of the 10 spheres, in a way of yesh ma'ayin, something from nothing, because we're talking about it in physical terms. And I guess you could say, to clarify that, when we talk about physicality, it's a yesh ma'ayin concept. It's something from nothing. The shayach b'zeh din gomer, and with this, it's shayach. It's makes sense that there's a judgment daily. But it doesn't mean it's not according to the rabbis. And this is sort of what we've been showing. Before we learned according to Rav Yossi, there's a judgment every day. According to rabbis, there's no judgment every day. It's just a iyun, a calling to mind, and analyzing. But now what we've explained, the Rosh Hashanah showed us that it's not two different opinions. It's almost two different things. Rabbanan say it could stay spiritual. And that's sort of what you're doing every day with your davening. That with davening, that the spiritual should come down in the physical. Rabbanan medabrin be'inyan hachayos haruchni. Rav Yossi medabrin be'inyan hagashi. Rav Yossi, Rabbanan talking about spiritual, and Rav Yossi talking about physical. And that's what you're davening for. And so essentially, yeah, this is what we said. Also, a side point, but I think maybe we just say this vart, and then we'll stop here. And tomorrow we'll start in the new Maimer. It's so when you think about it, we say yesh ma'ayin is something from nothing, which means we're saying we are something and we're coming from nothing. Now, the simple meaning is we see ourselves as something and we're coming from something we don't see. It's ayin. That's the whole point of yesh ma'ayin, is something, a feeling of something coming from nothing. But the truth of the matter is, and Chassidus talks about this, that really we should say ayin miyesh, something, nothing from something. Because we really are truly nothing in comparison to Hashem. Hashem is the true yesh, true existence, and we are the non-true existence. But we say yesh ma'ayin because from our perspective, we are a yesh, and we come from an ayin, we don't see ourselves. And that's yesh ma'ayin. But in the truth of the matter, it's the other way. God is the yesh, the true existence, and we are the ayin. But when we're learning, especially now, we're talking about it in terms of ourselves and understanding it, so that we say yesh ma'ayin. A side point, but interesting to have. So tomorrow we're going to discuss, we'll give it a little head up. Tomorrow we're going to discuss that it says, Lashon Tzav, that Tzav that has the gematria of Kel Adnai, which is one of Hashem's name, Kel Adnai, God Adnai. And Kel Adnai is Lashon Tzav, language of Tzav, which is like commandment. It says in Gemara, it says in Sanhedrin, that Tzav, that is a Lashon of Avodah Zarah. So the question is, how can we say one of Hashem's names is Avodah Zarah? Avodah Zarah, Hashem's name, it's a little bit heavy thing to say. But for that answer, we have to come back tomorrow. Mitzvah Hashem, everyone should have a good day. Everyone should have all the brachas, begashmias, shouldn't stay spiritual. Mitzvah Hashem, our Rosh Hashanah Kippur was very good. And today we're davening that we should come down in our physical world. Have an amazing day.